In this video, we're going to quickly go over how you can manage your Descope flows across your environments, how you can make changes to a flow in your staging project, and using our Terraform provider, push those changes to production. This is a common question that comes up because developers are used to actually building out custom screens and logic and shipping code, as opposed to making changes in this visual workflow. And so the purpose of this video is to demonstrate an example of how you could potentially do that with GitHub Actions in our Terraform provider. So let's look at a production project we have here. This is a flow that we have in our production project. We also have a staging project as well that we're going to work out of. But to look at the production project right now, you can see this is the flow that's running. And right now it has simple OTP with email. I'll go ahead and sign in just to show you what that looks like. And as you can see, I'm signed in. Now this is my deployed application using the production flow that we want to change. And so let me go ahead and log out, and then we'll go back to the console here. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to make all of our changes in the staging project here. You would typically have a dev, staging, and production project that you can make changes to, push into the next environment, and so on. These typically exist as Descope projects with their own separate user pools. As you can see, the workflow that exists in staging currently looks the same as the one in production. So what I want to do is I want to make a change to add OTP and passkeys to my application. So I will show you the full life cycle of that change, starting with the flow itself here. So if I want to make that change, all I have to do is add a few buttons here. I'll add a sign in with Google, sign in with Facebook button, change the text here. And I'll also add a passkey button as well. So I'll put that right there next to the continue button. So now, just like with any Descope flow, all I have to do is connect a few actions here. So I'll add the passkey action, sign up or in passkeys, as well as the action for auth, sign up or in auth, connect a few dots here, and then end the flow. Let me format it real quick. And you can see I've added social login and passkeys to my application. Now, this is my staging flow. So this is typically where you would have your staging environment. You would test it with your end-to-end tests with something like Cypress or Playwright. And you could even run the flow in the flow runner here. And let me just do that just to test. So now let me just try signing in with Google to make sure that all process works. And it looks like we're good to go. I can try with a passkey as well. I'll create a new user, create a passkey. You can see it asks me to save the passkey. I'll save it to my Chrome profile, tap my fingerprint, and I'm signed in. So now I'm fully leveraging the power of Descope. I just on the fly basically made a change to the flow and added these two authentication methods. Now I want to push to production. So now let me show you real quick our Terraform plan here. So I'm managing my production project with Terraform, and as you can see, this is the Terraform plan specific to my production project. Terraform can not only manage things like the project settings, the session management settings, your jot templates, even the connectors, but also flows as well. So you can decide what flows you would like to manage via Terraform. I have them all in a folder right here. And the benefit of this is that you can replace the JSON files that are here, which are basically the code of the flow that you are trying to run, and replace it in this folder here, and Terraform will automatically pick it up, manage, and be able to replace the flow in your production project with what you replaced it from, say, your staging or dev environments. So I have this Terraform plan here, and I'm actually running this Terraform plan also in this project right here. So I have my Descope Terraform demo project, and you can see this is exactly what I showed in Cursor before, where I have a flows folder with my flows, as well as my main Terraform plan and so on. And so if I go to actions, you can actually see there's two workflows that I've defined. One is promote flows from staging, the other is deploy to production. Now to promote flows from staging, we'll actually use the Descope CLI tool to fetch all of the flows that have been modified in staging, recognize which ones have changed, and then display and open a PR to show the differences between them. Once I merge that PR, then the deploy to production will kick off because there's a push to main, and deploy to production will use Terraform init, plan, and apply to apply my changes to my production project. So running through this whole flow, you'll see from start to finish how the flow change actually materializes in your production project. So as the developer, once I've made the changes to my Descope flow in my staging project, all I have to do now is go to this GitHub repo and click Run Workflow. I'm going to go ahead and refresh the page, and you can see here it's going to run this GitHub workflow. Let's wait for it to set up the job. It's going to install the Descope CLI. And as you can see, it actually recognized that the sign up or in JSON was changed right here. And so as soon as it recognized that, it created a pull request. And now if I go to this repo, there's an update flows from staging pull request that shows there have been changes to the sign up or in JSON. And we can even see the changes here as well. If you want to look at what those changes are, you can see the changes are quite dramatic because we added a bunch of buttons and things like that. But you can see the flow JSON managed as code. And once you're satisfied with the changes, typically you would have some kind of end-to-end test as well as an approval process. You can go ahead and merge that pull request. Now, once I've merged that pull request, you're going to see if I go back to actions here, that the deploy to production workflow automatically kicks off. What is this doing? It's doing the Terraform init, plan, and apply, as I mentioned before, and is going ahead and actually applying those changes to the production project. So it says apply complete. It completed successfully. And now the final step, going back to my production project and refreshing the page. Once I've done that, you can see all of the changes that I made in my staging project have now been fully applied and deployed in production. Now all I have to do to test it is click on Google, for example, to sign in with social login, and I'm signed in. And so what I've just shown is within a few minutes, I was able to add Google social login and passkeys to my project, test everything in stage, and then with a few simple clicks and GitHub Actions as well as Terraform, be able to fully promote that to production without having to change any of the source code of my application. If you want to learn more, you can visit our docs, which has information about the Terraform provider, as well as some GitHub Action examples as well that you can take a look at.